What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing awesome out there. Thanks for joining us for another video. As you can see in the flesh right here, we have fellow coffee nerd and my brother-in-law, Nolan, joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be back.
First thing we're going to do is take a look at this coffee that we ground with both of these grinders. One is set up with the fellow Ode Gen 2 Burrs, and one is set up with the SSP MP Red Speed coated Burrs. We used a particle analyzer app that my buddy Matthew Keller told me about. It's accurate enough, I think, plus just with what we're feeling and seeing, ourselves, to be able to get the particle size or grind size pretty comparable between the two Odes, and we got them both right around 780 micron. This is the grind done with the Gen 2 Burrs here, and this is the SSP MP. Very uniform particle distribution. Particle size is really good. They were within I think it was 10 or 15 microns of each other. So let's brew some coffee.
Absolutely.
This is the awkward part. Should we just stare longingly to each other's eyes? Okay, that's about all I can do with that.
I mean, I could have started playing with your feet too, I guess. A little footsie action.
That's weird.
Wrong content.
Wrong channel, bro. Dude, that was 3:02.
7 seconds apart or something.
Basically,
like that?
both right at 3 minutes. Yeah, within 5 to 7 seconds of each other. So
I'd say that's pretty close.
Good. This has got good berry flavor. Compare this one. The red berry kind of, or berry punch sort of note is, I think, more prominent in this one.
Yeah.
So while the SSP continues to cool down, we will start with the Gen 2s. It's pretty bright.
Very.
It's got good brightness to it.
I for sure get that berry coming through.
Yep. My experience with this right now is sort of generally the experience I've had with the Gen 2s. Good overall flavor notes, good acidity, good overall sweetness. I've got some good clarity of the flavor notes. That mixed berry punch note is really good. And just overall, it's a really, really good cup of coffee.
This is my first time having the Gen 2 Burrs, and so far that was really good. Like you said, I like the body, flavors coming through really nicely. Yeah, I mean, no real complaints, obviously.
Yeah, so let's try the SSP. One thing in my experience with the Gen 2s, like I was telling you a little bit earlier, and some other people that I've spoken with, as the cup cools, the brightness and acidity. As the cup cools, the brightness and acidity has a tendency to sort of go up, or at least stay elevated in comparison to the other flavors, relatively speaking. So it seems like the brightness and acidity is sort of increasing as the cup, brewed with, using the Gen 2 Burrs cools.
Yeah.
And that's sort of been my experience, as well as many other people that I've spoken to. So I guess we'll see how that kind of happens with this coffee as it cools, but SSPs. Okay. Very similar, definitely thinner body. Right away I noticed, definitely a thinner body.
The flavor was just like immediate.
Really good clarity of the flavors. All the same flavors are there.
Yeah.
They're just a little more vibrant in the cup, with the SSP Burrs. The red berry flavor note is there a little bit more.
Juicy.
Yeah. I'm definitely getting more of the juicy
jowl juice.
Watery mouth with this than with the the Gen 2 Burrs. I mean, obviously, we kind of knew going into this. We've experienced both of these Burrs already, but never done a full side-by-side comparison like this. So we kind of knew what we were in for, and I'm sure most of you out there who have some experience and have been hearing and learning about these Burrs and using them yourselves, whether that's the Gen 2 or the SSPs, or you happen to have both. This is pretty common for this Burr to be, the clarity of the flavors is much more pronounced, much more vibrant. The florals are usually more elevated.
I will say there is definitely a noticeable difference in the red berry taste.
I'm not going to do as much. Just a couple little sips here. Don't want to get all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Interesting. As it's cooled a little bit,
you can smell it a little bit better.
The berry flavor
is coming through on that.
As it cools,
it cooled down, honestly, it's a little bit closer to this now. So that's actually, I didn't think it would get that close.
How do I explain this? It's interesting. The flavors are different. They're the same flavor note, but they're slightly different. It's almost like the flavor is sort of shaped differently, if that's a way to explain it. This to me seems like it comes off as a little brighter up front now that it's cooled, and that red berry flavor is almost a little more strong than the SSPs, are more noticeable, but it tapers away. That red berry flavor and that acidity seem to linger for me longer with the MPs versus the Gen 2s. They're subtle. It's subtle differences that, like, if you really think about it, you can taste them, but just like, which is what makes the freaking Gen 2 so amazing. I feel like every Gen 2 Burr video I do, I feel like I'm like a hype man for the Gen 2s. Like, I'm not on Fellow's payroll. I'm not being paid to say any of this, but like every single time I taste coffees and the Gen 2's in the mix, like, it's just ridiculous how good they are.
Considering that is a good competitor compared to, you know, the SSPs or the Gorillas.
For the money.
For the money, that's impressive. I still feel like and I might be biased just because the SSP MPs are in my grinder and I'm happy with them.
Yeah.
I do feel like this overall, like that lasting flavor is a little bit better.
Agreed.
But I mean, that could also boil down to the coffee a little bit too.
Well,
and
it's also personal preference too, right? That's one thing I always try to like talk about in these videos is it's like, there is no right, wrong. There is no best.
It's what makes you happy.
It's subjective, right? If you are going for ultimate clarity, you want the most clarity you can get, and you're just a clarity hound and that's all you want is clarity, then the MPs are gonna be the Burr you're gonna wanna go with.
If that came in my grinder to start, I probably wouldn't have sought to upgrade to these. The only reason why I had the Gen 1, and I was always interested in upgrading the Burrs eventually and wanting to try that, but had I had that, I don't think I would have
I agree.
Upgraded.
Yeah, I guess the only point I'm trying to make is they're both really damn good Burrs, and depending on what you're trying to do and what your personal preferences are with coffee, I don't think you can go wrong with either one. It just comes down to what you're trying to do and what you want to do with your home coffee.
Yeah.
End of story.
See
you in the next video.
You want a great cup of coffee on a budget? Fellow, God, I keep doing that. Fellow Gen 2s, if you want to unlock, more clarity, SSP MPs are probably the way to go, but you are going to pay for it.
Yeah. Hopefully we could be of help. Really appreciate you guys watching and all the support and all the comments and everything we've been getting. It's been awesome. So thank you very much. And we will catch you on the next video. Take care.
Dude, I'm pretty damn impressed. I did not think the Gen 2s were going to be that good.
They're good, dude. They're really good.
They really stepped it up. That's impressive.